Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the state of the industry, and we're going to be talking about kind of following the money. It's been a little while since I've made a state of the industry video, and I wanted to talk through some things. I'm not speaking in absolutes. I've got my opinion. You have yours. Let's talk about it in the comments together, but we'll go ahead and get right into it. So let's first start with who's involved in the process of a camper being built, delivered, and then sold to the end consumer, to the customer who brings it home and then uses it for whether they're replacing their home and moving out, buying a piece of land and living in the camper, or maybe they're just using it as a truly recreational vehicle. I believe the first person involved in the process chain, supply chain, whatever you want to say, is a person who's funding it. Whether that's a bank, whether that's a group of investors. I don't believe that the manufacturers are putting their cold hard, cash on the table, footing the bill in this process, waiting to be paid back eventually down the road when the busier season actually sells out, if it sells out. If all these actual dealerships sell what they have in their inventory. So I believe, number one, the person who is funding the bill, they're getting paid interest, absolutely, from start to finish. They are the first person to pay for all the materials, to pay for the labor to be done. The manufacturers, I don't believe for a second, are actually funding it 100% out of the the buildup that they have, maybe of profit. So number one is the funding person. They're making money. Of course, number two, the actual people who make the camper, the actual manufacturers, the various different companies that are doing this. Most of these manufacturers are in northern Indiana, and at the end of the day, yeah, they're producing these campers, they're paying their employees, but they're making money at the end of the day, absolutely. So we have the person who's funding all of the work to be done. We have the manufacturers making profit. And then we next have, once the camper is built, of course, the transport company. Largely, there's, several dozen or probably even more main transport companies who are in competition with each other, who are competing for contracts. Once the campers that are they're built, it's the transport companies that then takes the baton and takes the campers, and then it's their job, their responsibility, and they get paid to do it, to logistically move hundreds or thousands of campers at a time to all of these dealerships all over the country. We are a subsection of that, part of that. We next, as drivers, we are paid by the transport companies, a part of them, operating underneath their authority, of course. Unless you had your own authority, we're paid to do the actual last part of the whole, foot race. We're paid to actually deliver it to the dealership, and then the heat is on. It's cranked up from there. The dealership then has to actually sell it. All the work's been put into it. Everybody's been paid all up until that point, and then the dealership actually has to make the sale. So they're out to make money as well. So the dealerships are then selling the campers to the end consumer, the customer, and then finally it makes it to their home, and everyone gets paid at various times. We get paid immediately. I'm pretty sure other parts in the whole process get paid at different times. So those are all the moving parts in the process from funding to delivery that goes into this. This is not a small operation. This is a major situation in this industry. This is its own full industry that's got its problems, it has had its supply chain issues, but those are the moving parts in this industry from start to finish. Next, let's talk about where is the money coming from to be able to pay for these campers. Either you have the money in your hand or you don't. It's pretty simple. Either you're buying it on credit, putting down some down payment of some sort, usually through the dealership or whatever that looks like, or people have the cash on hand. So we've got people who have tens of thousands of dollars sitting there ready to go, ready to be able to purchase a brand new camper. Or we have people who don't have cash on hand, who are relying on somebody else, again, a funder, someone who's going to make money off of the interest. We have that person who's paying somebody else extra money to be able to afford the camper, and they're maybe not able to afford as much now because the interest rates have gone up. So we have people who have lots of money, which there probably are less and less of those people out there right now due to our current economy, what's going on with inflation, cash on hand, everything across the board, prices are going up. So we have the two ways of people being able to pay for these campers. People either have less money to maybe now they can't afford this. Maybe they had 20 grand in the bank and they were they were saving up. You know, maybe they weren't filthy rich, but they were able to maybe store up some money to be able to buy a camper. Well, now they're pushed down below where they were trying to get to, where they were trying to be able to afford a certain level or a certain tier of a camper. Now they're pushed further down. We have people who are, relying on their credit. Maybe now because of the cost of living has gone up higher and higher. Maybe people have lost their jobs recently. Whatever that looks like, maybe their credit doesn't look as good as it used to be. And now with interest rates climbing through the roof or into the stratosphere, we have people who now couldn't even get the credit. Nobody even would trust them with that amount of money to pay them back because things are so close to home. So we have the people who are filthy rich, maybe, who they could afford anything, and maybe they'll still pay whatever they want to be able to get exactly what they want. We have people maybe who they could have afforded something, but now they can't. They got pushed out of, due to cash on hand, and maybe they do have to finance part of the camper. And then we have people who were strictly really relying on all of it to be on credit, and now they're maybe pushed down below the water to where they can't even afford, and nobody would trust them for the funding to be able to afford that monthly payment or all of it in general, whether due to the interest rate or the actual total price going up on all these campers. So the people who are buying these campers right now or in the near future are probably looking a little bit different than maybe the type of person who was able to afford it in the last 5, even 10 years. It's a new situation that we're going through. Levels of inflation that are just through the roof, and it's affecting us at every single thing that we touch, everything that we do, anytime we swipe our card, anything at all. It's affecting us on a daily and a moment-by-moment basis. So what does that mean for you and me as transport drivers? What does that really look like for us to be able to compile all this information, to see all the moving parts, to see what's happening? We're affected, of course, by the inflation right now as well. We're paying, of course, more than ever for fuel, and we have to navigate through this whole situation really without much direction. Transport companies aren't saying what's really going on. Manufacturers aren't really saying what's going on. There's announcements of things happening and this and that and all that, but there's no real clear direction specifically from from somebody at a podium or something. We just have all these pieces of information compiling up, and we have to be able to read between the lines and connect some dots to see where things are really going. So as we're all going through this whole situation together, I don't believe any RV transporter is really not affected by this. I think every person, no matter what company, no matter how long you've been doing this, whether you have a CDL or not, I think everybody, to a certain degree, is going to be affected or already is affected by this whole situation. But one theme that continues to pop up more and more recently is I'm hearing from other YouTubers in the industry, in our RV transporting community, or from drivers in person or seeing it for myself, my firsthand and own experience, looking at the load board, looking at what's at dealerships, is that there are less loads overall. However, there's a larger portion of those loads that are CDL loads, whether that's the higher actual CDL loads as far as the GVWR for the trailer, or they're multi-haul loads. There's a lot of smaller ones, and it's the multi-haul division that is able to continue going a little bit more often, seemingly, than the actual non-CDL single pull guys. So we have a picture of very heavy trailers that are up to 22,000 pounds, whatever the max is. Those are guaranteed the high dollar fifth wheels that we see out there, maybe the bigger train cart monster 40-foot campers that are all decked out, the residence trailers like that are maybe crazy money. So we see the high dollar campers that are maybe still probably going out, maybe yes to a lower degree, but they're still being pushed out. And then we have low dollar, so we have very, very small campers that are being stacked up in multi-haul guys, haul and tow, or triples. They're pulling those campers, and so we have kind of a dividing factor. And what's that factor? We have non-CDL guys over here, guys and gals. We have non-CDL single pull people here, and we have CDL people who are pulling singles, but they're the much more expensive ones. And then we have the very small ones, which are the cheapest you're really going to get in a camper. So we have the high end and we have the low end. And then the middle, the 30-foot, 35-foot travel trailers that are kind of mid-tier, that are not too crazy. Maybe even some smaller fifth wheels that are non-CDL but not fully decked out. They're not the crazy monster ones. That mid-tier that's non-CDL single pull, what does that really represent? That's kind of the middle class. You can see the dividing. You can see the shrinking of the total loads of the non-CDL single pull guys. So we have a shrinking of everything overall probably, but there's an even stronger grip on the non-CDL single pull people out there. So everyone's still affected, no doubt about it. Probably everybody at this point has experienced probably a week or more of sitting there going, okay, unless you took vacation or did maintenance or whatever. We're all affected, but it's a shrinking, and you can see it in our economy. You can see it in our country. The middle class has been shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, being pushed lower and lower and lower. And the people who still have the crazy money to buy these crazy fifth wheels, the higher end stuff, they're probably still able to afford it. Maybe there's less of those people, and maybe they have shrunk down to maybe the more middle tier, the middle class. Maybe they can't afford those bigger fifth wheels. Maybe they're downgrading or selling it all together. Who knows? But we're seeing this same theme in our country, in our world, as well as in the RV transporting industry. And why is that? We have an industry that's built on a discretionary income. People who are able to do it because they want to, not because they have to, probably. I think very few people who buy campers are doing it to go off-grid, maybe more now than ever before after the C word. But I think it's still a discretionary industry. And when we have an industry and an economy that has less and less and less discretionary income, extra money to go do things that they want to do, this is the end result. We have a shrinking middle class. We have a shrinking maybe non-CDL single pull. And for the top and the bottom, the largest campers and the smallest campers, those are maybe hanging on a little bit better than maybe the middle over here, non-CDL single pole. So this is the situation that we're literally seeing already unfolding before our eyes. Maybe more this time around, this time of a difficult situation, of a dip, than maybe ever before. It's always been this way. I've made videos talking about it, but I've always said there's a smaller pool of drivers who have a CDL, who are able to, if they have a haul and tow, or they're able to do those things, they have more options. That's a smaller group of people, and if you're not in that group, you don't even have the option to be able to take some of these campers. For me, being single pole non-CDL, I'm excluded. And if you're a non-CDL person, you're excluded from these other campers too, unless your transport company divvies up the smaller ones and kind of dissolves that pay rate for the person who takes 2 or 3 at a time, whatever that looks like. This is just where we're at, and I don't see it changing drastically, doing a complete reversal anytime soon. I know there's other factors that go into this. I'm not saying that they're not important. I'm just saying from start to finish, we have people funding it all the way down to us delivering it, and then they sell it to the customer. We have a different customer base now than we did, I would say, a couple years ago even. And I think things are changing, whether we like it or not. I don't think this is just a couple week slowdown. If you've been in this industry for a year or two or maybe more, you should know right now, we're in September. The July shutdown was a thing, and I understand there's other factors even now at play. But every year, we should only be ramping up more and more and more all the way till December. This is the go time. This is the new year model. All the shows are happening right now. Thankfully, they're actually happening. During COVID and stuff, I don't think things really happened back then, but we have a changing industry right now. There's a lot of things at play. I think there's more bad than good happening. I don't enjoy that. I'm just telling you what I see, what I hear, and I have no special information. I'm just telling you this stuff is bigger than I think just a simple supply chain issue like we've had before. I think it's bigger than just a slower, Christmas shutdown, New Year's shutdown, or a regular, July shutdown. This is bigger than anything I've seen in 6 years. I think almost 7 years now, but there's people who've been doing it a lot longer than I have. So let me know down in the comments below. What do you think? I think this is the ticket. This is the deal right now. This is where we're at. I'm not telling you where we're going to go. I'm just telling you, here's where we're at. I don't think we're going to be going anywhere else anytime soon. I hope I'm wrong. I'll eat crow all the way to the dealership after delivering, 20 campers in a row. No big deal. But I think this is the new normal, where we're going to be at for some time. This industry is not largely, the most people who are buying campers, this is not a necessity. This is extra. And right now, I don't know about you, I don't have extra. I have personally gone through so many issues recently in the last month and some change. My reserve money is really not much there at all. I had backup plans. I've had things in place, and that's gone. And it is a tough time right now. I don't ever plan on buying a camper, but if I did, now would be the least possibility of me ever buying a camper. So you tell me, you have more money in your bank account right now than you have had in the past? Is the inflation, do you notice the inflation? Are you noticing less loads? Are you seeing the same things I'm seeing and other people are seeing as well with, the higher end and the very low end still sort of being there, but the middle area really kind of shrinking and not happening as often as you used to see on the load board. Also, I just want to say this in closing. I'm not speaking in absolutes. I'm not saying that this is absolutely how it is. This is, everything I see is exactly, perfect. I'm talking generally when I say, there's more CDL loads on the top and the bottom, and of course there's still single pole loads that are non-CDL. I just want to put that out there. Somebody's going to say it in the comments. I don't know, but this is my thoughts. I just want to share that with you. This is the state of the industry. Follow the money. This is how it goes. Our decisions, other people's decisions, impact us. Whether we like it or not, things are connected. Things take time. You don't have an absolute bounce back from a deep dive, and I think it takes time to recover. It's after what our country has gone through over the last several years. I think it's healthy to have a rebound, to have things shrink up with everybody and their brother jumping into RV transport. Maybe in the last couple of years because they lost their job somewhere else, or they wanted to have the freedom to go and drive and do their own thing. I think I wish people didn't get in a difficult situation or whatever, but for the market itself, I think it is a healthy thing for things to shrink to a certain degree, and then slowly build and recover and go forward. So I think we have a lot to answer for as a country, and with everything we've done and manipulated with our currency and all that. But all that to say, I wish you the best. I care about you. I'm just throwing this out there. Hopefully this was a help to you. Let me know if I'm an absolute idiot. I know I am to a certain degree, but let me know in the comments. Hopefully this was a help. Have a great day. Stay safe, guys, and God bless.